Hey folks, Phil Gallagher here for some vintage cube. This is the donation, or not, sub goal sort of bonus video that we're going to get. Pack one, pick one, reanimate seems a good way to go. If we wanted to like force something that I thought could be pretty good, I could just force Eidolon, pack one, pick one, and just like hone in on burn. Thief of Sanity is an interesting card. But I tend to have a lot of fun playing Reanimator in Vintage Cube. So let's try to do something degenerate and build something as close to a legacy deck as we can. We would hope to wheel Thirst of Knowledge, Trop, Thief of Sanity, or maybe Hexmage from this pack. Well, that's a real good fatty. In this pack, I like Brainstorm a little bit, but it's way less good than in Constructed. I think Snapcaster, Riftwing, Cloudscape, Terastodon are your potentially good cards. Culligan's Command is interesting, but I think I'm just going to take up Premier Reanimation target early on. Liliana of the Veil is an answer to permanence as well as something that lets us discard creatures. I think it's better than Shriekmaw here. Vampire Nighthawk is one of my favorite cards of all time. It's better in Legacy Cube than Vintage Cube. But then there's just Sower of Temptation. And if I'm playing Reanimator, I'm very, 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 very likely to be blue-black. Vampire Nighthawk is also a card that gets no respect, so maybe it comes back around. Am I gonna want to cast green spells? I'm not ecstatic about Bone Shredder. I like Shriekmaw better. I think I'm gonna take the Bone Shredder though. Oh, Dimir Signet versus Unburial Rites. Versus Shelldock Isle as well. This is a strong pack. I value Signets really highly in Cube. I don't know that that pick is necessarily correct. Now it's Gonti versus Shallowgrave. Shallowgrave is one of the weaker reanimation spells. It's still really good with the Terastodon. But Gonti is a card that impresses me for those times where you just need to play some fair magic for a little while. Getting cards from your opponent's library, gaining a little bit of extra information, that's all really strong. Collective Brutality is another way to self-discard. Now we get a really tough choice. The Thief of Sanity and Vampire Hexmage are both there. So Vampire Hexmage answers powerful Planeswalkers like Jace, like Oko, but Thief of Sanity is just a much better card. Hexmage lets us backdoor into Dark Depths combo, but if we don't see that card, it does nothing. Since we have no red fixing yet, I don't think I'm going to go Culligan Command Deep. I'm going to take Sword of Fire and Ice. Probably not play it. Yo. So our Reanimator package could end up being somewhat small. Like, I have synergy towards it right now, but we could just end up being a blue-black mid-range deck if things don't come together. Make this bigger for you all. Yeah, how about that? How does that look on your end? That looks a little better. That's all kind of a wash. So getting that on burial rights at the very end probably bodes well for me in terms of packs 2 and 3. The Reanimator stuff is probably going to be pretty open. Another direction I can think about for my deck is like playing a blue-black control deck and using my reanimation spells on my opponent's creatures. Some of these only target stuff in your graveyard, but like Reanimate is either graveyard, so my Bone Shredder or Shriekmaw type cards, Collective Brutalities. Oh, what a pack. Holy crap. Balance is objectively the best card here. Exhume and Rotting Regisaur are pretty good for my deck. I don't think I can pass a balance. Like, it's also just a self-discard card that can also be a board wipe. Yeah, let's hope to wheel Rotting Regisaur or Exhume here. Wheeling Miscalc would also be acceptable. All right, we're Esper now, boys. All right, so this is not a real reanimation target. That one shuffles in. Spellseeker as a tutor for Reanimate. Two or less. So right now it's Collective Brutality, Reanimate, Balance. That's a tutor for Balance? Okay. I think that's better than Everflowing Chalice by quite a bit. Remand versus Inquisition of Kozilek. I think both are very good. I see myself tapping out a lot for like Lily, Bone Shredder, Spellseeker, so I think I'm just going to take the Inquisition. I think that one's close. Holy crap. This pack. Tundra, Pack Rat, Brazen Borrower are all just insane. Pack Rat's not quite as unbeatable in this format. 3, 6, 9, 12 cards in this pack, so a couple of these come back. So what are the worst cards? Probably like Vanguard, Wall of Blossoms, probably a Seasoned Pyromancer, and then one of maybe Nahiri, Murderous Rider, Pack Rat. I think I need to take this Tundra and start working towards some mana fixing if I'm actually going to play Esper. I only have 2 pieces of fixing so far, counting that Tundra. I'm going to end up, like, super good on playables. The only white cards I'm probably playing are Lingering Soul Balance and Unburial Rites. But I would like that splash to be as close to free as possible. Necromancy and Go for the Throat are both worth consideration. I'm going to go ahead and take Necromancy and just make sure I'm fine on my reanimation front. I think since I have Shredder, Shriekmaw, and Nighthawk, that, as well as Lily, the 4th removal spell, 5th counting Collective Brutality, is not necessarily great. Dark Ritual? That might be a Dark Ritual deck. I like it more than Plague Crafter, that's for sure. It occurs to me now, I should just like make... Oh, God! Yes! Yes! I should make the top cards bigger too, so you're not like squinting. Can you tell I haven't recorded very many draft videos, folks? I bet you can. I'll take a Necro... Yeah. Let's take the Ashen Rider. That's a reanimatable threat that also might be hard castable. And I have a preference to threats like Mere Battlefear or Wormcoil Engine that, like, if you reanimate them early, they're insane, or if you just, like, get to the end game, you flood out, you hardcast them, that's strong as well. Like, it's a lot to ask to cast an Ashen Rider at 8 mana, but if we end up with, like, a couple of Signets, Dark Ritual, maybe that happens. Yeah. We're going to have decisions to make in the deck building portion of this stream. Winds of Abandon versus Makeshift Mannequin. Makeshift Mannequin is medium as a reanimation spell. I guess I can also consider Dragon Lord Atarka, because like there are some matchups where you're just playing against like some sort of white weenie deck that like reanimating a Dragon Lord Atarka is GG. I think Winds is a medium removal spell. I think Makeshift Mannequin is a medium reanimation spell. Alright, I've changed my mind. I'm going to take that. There are worlds where I play a Recruiter of the Guard. There are worlds where I play a Vindicate. None of those cards. That's probably not playable, but like it has graveyard-based synergy again. Like I certainly won't start with it in the deck. What a pack. We have a kind of on-color Signet. We have a Scrubland, Deluge, Living Death, Emrakul Promise End, Gifts Ungiven, Jace. I think Signet and Scrubland are the best cards for me. I don't think I need more playables. Like, if I had to make my deck right now, I would be comfortable doing it. So I think I'm going to try to prioritize land picks. We're almost certainly getting something back from this pack. Like, we would potentially play Primus, Deluge, Vista, Jace, Gifts, Emrakul, Signet. I guess if I play a basic... This Prismatic Vista only fixes for one of my colors, but it fixes for all three, whereas Scrubland only fixes for two. Maybe Vista's better. That's tough. Foff versus Polluted Delta. For the same reasons as last time, I'm taking the land. That one pains me a bit. Bob? So Anguish Unmaking answers anything. Putrid Imp gives me more graveyard-based synergy. I think I'm going to take the Putrid Imp. I think I can be a dedicated combo deck pretty easily. He says as he finds Buried Alive. So if I want to play dedicated Reanimator taking Buried Alive is the clear pick here. If I wanted to play a more mid-range game, Tassiger becomes a consideration, so does Phantasmal Image. But I think I'm going to go closer to combo here. I don't love the tapped land, but I have so many playables. So many playables, and I'm expecting a good number of things to wheel. Let's get my fixing. The fixing isn't coming back around. I don't think this pack is insane for me. Like, Treasure Cruise is obviously, like, bonkers, banned in Legacy, restricted in Vintage. So maybe I'm supposed to take it, but I need my stuff in my graveyard. And even a lot of my ancillary cards are just good being in the graveyard. Like Lingering Souls and Angel of Sanctions if I end up playing that. So I'm going to take the Damnation for the sideboard. Yes. Alright, we have become a dedicated degenerate deck. A lot of my mid-rangey stuff like Gonti, Angels of Sanction, Thief of Sanity, those sorts of things are probably going to get boarded out. And I'll keep a very strong, fair mid-range plan for this sideboard. These are some cards. I feel like Dragon Lord Atarka already beats the fair decks, which is what Sphinx of the Steel Wind does. Sphinx of the Steel Wind is immune to Oko and Jace, right? No, protection from red and green. That's not true. It's protection from Dak Faden. For combo decks. Alright, God, Living Death versus Scrubland. If I take this Scrubland, I probably don't need... Playing the basic planes is still good. I don't have a lot of time to make this decision. I'm actually going to be playing very little blue. I'm going to take that Scrubland. Yo. Yo. I think Bob's somewhat likely to kill me. Let's take Anguish Unmaking. So we're going to be very close to just a black deck. Like, the blue that I end up playing might be, like, just show and tell or very close to it. Maybe I ended up overvaluing fixing a little bit. I'm actually pretty happy to pick that up there. All right. Here we go. So I will be playing these three fatties. I'm going to start by putting most of my mid-rangey stuff in the sideboard and see how close to just dedicated all-in combo I can get with some degree of disruption. Let's get a couple different categories here. So I have things that get stuff into the graveyard. I have reanimation spells. So I have 4 reanimation spells, 5 enablers. This is probably going to start in the sideboard. Spellseeker getting Reanimate and Entomb is disgusting. How interactive am I, like, game one? Like, how many actual playables is that? That's 21. So that would be 19 lands, and I probably want like 17-ish lands. Counting the Bazaar as one of those. So that would mean I'd probably want to play 2-ish cards that interact with my opponent in some way. I have almost no blue in this deck now. I still think Spellseeker and Show and Tell are powerful enough that I want to play them. Especially since all 3 of my Show and Tell targets deal with some of the things that my opponent can put into play. So I think that's going to be strong. Let's play the flexible Vindicate. Like, should I just play my 2 most flexible ones and play Vindicate and Anguish on making? I still have like 11 turn 1, turn 2 plays by doing so. That's probably fine. So I have considerably more black than anything else. Add basic lands. What do you suggest? No. So 6 black would give us 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 black sources. One more with Signet. Is that the correct number of lands? It's 39. With 16 lands, I can add 1 more plains. So quick count. So black is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. White is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Blue is 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, this is 41. I've added 1 too many. So where does that put us? Put those in between there. That makes more sense to me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 black. That's great. Versus white, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Kind of like 1 more. This is island. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, this also doesn't count the Bazaar, though. Maybe I count the Bazaar as a spell. Don't play Anguish on making, and then submit this. Yeah, that sounds good to me. I'm no limited master. I definitely feel okay with this. Take a quick snip of my deck list, because I don't remember whether or not you can view your deck while you're playing limited, if that tells you anything about how much of this I actually do. I get my, I don't know, probably over Christmas I do about 5 vintage cubes. I often go home, play a couple with my friend Ryan back home. He enjoys Legacy, but doesn't really get a chance to play much, so doing this sort of thing is something we can do together to hang out and shoot the bull. I enjoy that a lot. I hope you all are having fun with this cube. Alright, let's fight. I have won the die roll. I would like to play first. I think I will keep this hand, despite the fact that it's missing stuff. One of my 4 reanimation spells gives me a very early creature. Otherwise, drawing 1 gives me a very early creature. Otherwise, I can, like, play out a Signet, then play Mesmeric Fiend to try to keep my opponent off of what they're doing. Since they led on this, I'm not super concerned about Mesmeric Fiending on turn 2. I think that'll be okay as a turn 3 play. See if I get punished by them slamming like a Sylvan Library or something. Yeah, that would fall into the category of things that would punish me a bit. But hopefully we can take their payoff card now. Yikes. So they're going to have 6 mana. We could Finale of Devastation for X equals 4. I think I want to take their Harmonize instead. But their hand is super spooky. Yep. Now they cycle Arbor Elf into God knows what. Dragon Lord Atarka, looking pretty hot here. My show and tell looking slightly less hot. Ah, that's fine. They still have the Den Protector to cycle into something else next turn. And this card's obviously very good. Yo. I am in. I'm going to pick Ashen Rider, Dragon Lord Atarka, and Terastodon. And then I'm going to cast Exhume. That kills that, that kills that, that kills that. Okay. Nice. Nice. So I'm going to want a few answers to their smaller creatures. So, like, I have Shriekmaw, which is good against Raphellos. Bone Shredder. I could play, like, even Vampire Nighthawk or Damnation, depending on how far down that road I want to go. What's going to be bad against my opponent? Tie Hollow Sculler, any card. So I kind of think that these cards are going to be a little worse when I'm on the draw. I think Vindicate's slow. I think Lingering Souls, while providing a bunch of chump blockers, is maybe not where I need to be. And then I think I should consider cutting some of these just for removal instead. But maybe I'm wrong. Like, on the play, I definitely want these. And maybe my opponent plays out a few mana dorks and I take the cards that matter, and it's fine. I think I want the Shriek Maw. I think I want the Damnation, and then I'm on the fence about the Bone Shredder. I think it's Bone Shredder or one of these. I could also remove my Show and Tell, since my opponent could have a big green fat thing to put in. And just play the Bone Shredder in that slot. I don't hate it. The fact that I have exactly 3 fatties and Buried Alive puts 3 things into my graveyard is kind of weird. My opponent has mulliganed. I have a way to get a fatty into the graveyard. I have a way to discard the fatty that's in my hand. I have nothing else. Is this fine when I'm on the draw? Like, I kind of have 2 pieces of the same combo, but I also have access to all of my colors. This is probably fine. Yeah, that's fine. Oh man, I guess that Damnation I brought in is super awkward with Sculler and Mesmeric Fiend. You can't block, right? No, you can block now, but you can't if I give you Threshold. Should have played out Tundra there, probably. Banishing Light, leaving my opponent with 2 lands. Not as good as it actually looks due to Tireless Tracker. But it is good to know that my opponent has Banishing Light, so they do have answers to a fatty that gets in play. I kind of think my opponent was supposed to fetch before they cracked the clue. Just like decrease the chance of them drawing another land. Slightly more relevant in a 40 card format than a 60 card format. Dragon Lord Atarka dealing 4 and 5 would be so sick. Alright. This is obviously not what I'm looking for. So I don't want to draw Terastodon, Ashen Rider, and then what don't I want to draw out of the other stuff here? I don't want to draw a Mesmeric Fiend at this point, I don't think. I could have pitched Entomb and Swamp there to deal 1 more point of damage. I don't know about that, though. Alright. Everything taps for more mana. Lands become dudes. Lands become indestructible. Okay. Alright, I am potentially just dead. And another turn to this stuff. Yikes. Okay. Tireless Tracker gets my opponent out of a pretty bad spot here. Now there's exactly 6 cards in my graveyard. I can chump block with Putrid Imp on one of these. I don't think I can trade away the Sculler. Now, don't know that I have a great path to victory. Hey, I should have mulliganed my opening hand. That's so close to doing it. But the Nissa will just reanimate another thing, so I shouldn't show this damnation. Okay. So I need to pick one of Mesmeric Fiend, Tidehollow Sculler / Damnation to play. Like, the Sculler answers the key big cards that my opponent can play, but I think I'm hoping to just combo them off. And if I don't combo them off, I just try to control their biggest things. So I think I'm going to leave my Damnation as an out here, and just bring in 2 more answers to something big that they put into play. Kind of hit the fail rate of my deck that time. Turn 1, Dark Ritual, Buried Alive. Make it so that I never draw my fatties. I'm in. Ashen Rider, Atarka, Terastodon. So as long as I hit lands, I have a pretty comfortable way of winning this game already. And if I don't hit lands, I'm hopefully hitting reanimation spells. I have 4 reanimation spells to hit. Planes to just kill that would be fine here, so I don't have to worry about a Planeswalker. Nope, okay. Well, hopefully my opponent vomits creatures and not a Planeswalker, and I can just do something cool with this Damnation. My opponent could have up to 8 mana this turn if they, like, search for a forest and then play another forest. Oh, they've searched for a mountain. Alright. Okay, so that's cool. Please play one more thing post-combat. Do I just take the 2-for-1? It's probably a mistake to let them untap with Rafellos again, right? Like, I'm gonna take my 2-for-1, and it's a true 2-for-1. All right. Well, that's terrifying. And I can't answer it because I'm off white. I feel like I've just hit the fail rate of my deck 2 games in a row. Like I have 4 outs for reanimation spells, plus the spell seeker to find them, and any of my like white sources was just insanely good. I think I'm just dead, right? How big is the ooze? 4, 8, 9, 10. No, I'm not dead, but I probably don't have outs to this biogenic ooze. All right. Well, never mind. This hand is actual, factual, nothing. I can't cast a single spell here. This hand is missing pieces, but has Buried Alive, Exhume, and Reanimate Rights, as well as just Balance, which could Mize a win on its own. I think I'll keep this and just pitch the Vindicate. My opponent can play like a Sweet Metalworker deck. Porcelain Legionnaire. It's like a flipped Delver on turn 1. Opponent has dealt themselves 6 already. So I play a land. So I have 7 cards in hand. I play a land, I cast Balance, I have 5 cards in hand, I discard 2, they lose 2 creatures. I think it's just better to Entomb right now, and then Exhume next turn. I think Dragon Lord Atarka helps me stabilize the board pretty darn well. I'll be slightly afraid of my opponent just having a counterspell for this Exhume. But I don't know that I get much say about that. Never mind, I get say. What a shame. I pick Dragon Lord Atarka. Deal some damage to you. I can't do damage to you, right? You know what? Let's deal 3 to the Trinket Mage instead. I hit the land for Coercive Portal. Oh, they are playing Urza instead. I can set up another creature for next turn, which I should probably just do. We'll take Ashen Rider, Terastodon, and then I don't want to draw a Putrid Imp at this point. I have made a monster. My opponent gets a lot of mana. I don't know what they can do with all of that mana. Like, they can use Duretti to loot. Coercive Portal is too slow as of right now. They're at 2. They can't tap the Ancient Tomb. Lotus Bloom is a tap sacrifice, so they can't get bonus mana out of that with Urza. I don't think they're going to 12 me this turn with that construct. They could, like, take my Dragon Lord Atarka. That would do things. I found Island off Urza. Did not do it. Alright, so my deck isn't going to be particularly good at destroying artifacts. I'm going to have Vindicate and Anguished Unmaking to do that. So these are not for artifact creatures. Okay. I think I want Anguished Unmaking. I'm considering Damnation. Maybe Gonti. I don't know about the chump blocking of Lingering Souls here. The discard stuff to surgically mess with my opponent's hand seems good, actually. So I don't know that I should necessarily, like, focus on that Urza. But, like, my opponent also showed me Porcelain Legionnaire, so they might have and Trinket Mage, they might have an aggressive component of their deck, and my traditional removal isn't going to be good against that. So maybe when I'm on the draw, I don't do this. Play, like, Damnation and Vampire Nighthawk as ways to help my life total stay high-ish. And I just, like, take out the Lingering Soul, because even though it provides chump blockers, it's, like, one of my harder things to cast. As we saw with one of my previous games, the Vindicate and Anguished Unmaking got stuck in my hand. Let's try this. I I am missing a way to get something into the graveyard. I have 2 things to draw to easily do that, and a few other things that will let me do it other ways. I think given the explosiveness of Dark Ritual and the fact that hitting Entomb or one of my other cards like really can push me ahead, I don't think I'm going to like throw this hand back. I also have like the back door, like reanimate one of my opponent's creatures after I just vindicate it. Oh, my courier is red to activate, which I can't make though. My opponent also doesn't have red yet though. I think we're in it for the long haul this game. Kind of want my opponent to play something worth vindicating. Otherwise, I might just like point a vindicate at their land, try to force a counter spell. I have black, black, I have white, white. Let's take an island out of my deck here. All right, super happy to make that trade. This could be spooky. Could just get like Winter Orbed and die. All right, Coercive Portal. So that's just going to be a draw card every turn. We have 3 of our 4 reanimation spells here, which is not ideal. This Bomat Courier is also getting a little annoying. I think it's better to take out the Coercive Portal because that card also potentially represents the death of my permanents. Probably not, though. All right. I guess I'm just passing and holding up activating Shambling Vent this turn to block Bomat Courier or force an activation. Yeah, good job, Bomat Courier. You have refueled my opponent's hand. Wrath of God and Terminus. So they can answer stuff. I wish I had the opportunity to pick up a few cantrips during my draft. All the wrong side. And I don't think I'm about reanimating that Bomat Courier. Like, it's just one more thing that I'll lose to the Oblivion Stone if I take that route. But my god, the Buried Alive would be sick. I'm going to escalate this once. Kill a creature, discard. Discard, kill a creature. Cast. Choose target opponent. Choose target creature. Pay. I'm going to discard the Show and Tell. I'm kind of scared of casting that. Like, if I draw a creature... Oh no, I guess discarding a Show and Tell is bad, because if I naturally draw the creature, then Show and Tell is what I want. I should have discarded the Unburial Rites, I guess. But I think yeah, that was a misplay. That was bad. Opponent gets a little bit of card advantage here, presumably. Oh no, they have discarded Lens. So I whiff, since this is instant or sorcery. I whiff. I should consider reanimating Porcelain Legionnaire, but I'm going to wait a turn until after they cast this Emery and see if they put something better into their graveyard. Is Necromancy my graveyard? Okay, any graveyard. Putting more than one thing into play is just super awkward due to this Oblivion Stone. There's also like Celestial Colonnade and Needle Spires, which make this of dubious value anyway. But if I can delay them from getting a 3-1 to add to their board, it's probably fine. Alright, there's the Divinity counter for Emery, extra mana. Opponent is going to have so much mana. A Relic of Progenitus here is really awkward for me too. Because I guess it's slightly awkward for them. because they could, like, Bomat Courier first. But they probably just want to cycle through their deck. They probably have something good to draw towards. Or are they just gonna like sit there with that relic in play all game? That would super punish me discarding the show and tell instead of Unburial Rites earlier. So now they have enough mana to activate Celestial Colonnade offensively and defensively. Yeah, there it is. There's the punish for my mistake earlier. I think I'm dead this game now. Like, milling my opponent out is my best win condition. That is mad respect for my strategy. What on earth is this that costs that much mana? Alright, I think I can comfortably whack the concede button there. I'm not even sure if I win that game, though, if I keep the show and tell. Because, like, I cast show and tell, I put into Rastodon, I target a bunch of stuff, O-Stone wipes the board. I blow up a bunch of my lands in process or something like that. Like, I target... It gets weird. Like, it's definitely more of a game. And then, like, maybe I reanimate the Rastodon a future time later. Okay. Do I want to change anything? Now I know my opponent has Sphinx of the Steel Wind. Maybe when I'm on the play, I take my Mesmeric Fiend, Tidal Colors back in, board the Damnation out. Balance works on artifacts? No. I think I'm going to board out the balance, as crazy as that sounds for Thief of Sanity. My opponent has a bunch of sweet cards in their deck that I would like to cast. And maybe that means I should Gonti as well. And, like, not Vampire Nighthawk. If I was on the draw, I would keep this hard discard Terastodon, maybe. But I'm going to mulligan this on the play. It just has too much of a chance of doing nothing. So we get turn 2 Mesmeric Fiend, turn 3 Buried Alive for our 3 fatties. Turn 4 Gonti. Have 4 shots at reanimation spells for a great opener. That's indicative of Spell Pierce. Called it. So opponent can't cast E-Tutor right now. They can cast Emery next turn. If Emery hits something, I'm not in good shape. But this Spell Pierce is pretty detrimental to my own game plan, so I'm going to take the Spell Pierce. This will be Ancient Tomb Emery in all likelihood. Alright, my opponent has missed off the Emery, which is great. I have black. Let's get the Tundra out of the deck here. Cast the Buried Alive. There's an argument for just sending 2 of the 3 fatties to the graveyard because of Relic of Progenitus, since I have a Putrid Imp that I could like potentially use to put another fatty into the graveyard in the future. But I think I'm trying to create a window here, and if my graveyard does get exiled, I think Gonti is the backup plan. Just find something great from my opponent's deck and try to use that to win. My opponent has a pretty sweet engine. I need something 4 hits towards a reanimation spell. A removal spell for Emery or Duretti would be fine, like Anguish Unmaking or Vindicate. I've given you a priority opponent, so don't know what's up there. Opponent might not have realized they had priority because of their Ancient Tomb dealing them damage. Entomb, right on time. Where do the rest of these go? Is it bottom of library? Yeah. In that case, I can take the Vamp Tutor. Opponent's Enlightened Tutor is now live, and fucking super unfortunately, they can draw the relic that I left in their deck. And I think that's that. Like, as long as they play safely and leave up relic, I'm dead. Well, crap. I think I'm getting Thief of Sanity and planning on winning with my opponent's cards instead. I can get Anguished Unmaking for Duretti and stop my opponent churning through their deck, but that doesn't actually let me win the game, and I feel like Thief of Sanity is probably my only real shot at winning this game. I would also really like to exile my opponent's Oblivion Stone. I feel like that's probably a key part towards me winning this game, is just like making it so that I can't lose these bodies. I really need an aggro-based kill. And I don't know how much longer I can actually expect Gonti to attack for, because I know my opponent has, like, Urza in the deck. Now my opponent gets an extra card every turn. Thirst for Knowledge will let me filter, which is fine. I don't know what I want, but it's probably not these cards. Well, Entomb does nothing, and I don't know that I need to take extra damage off of Prismatic Vista. Actually, Prismatic Vista gets me a Swamp, which means I could both Reanimate and Putrid Imp this turn. Take it back. Alright, so to be voting for homage. Real talk, I might just mill my opponent out. They have 13 cards, they have Coercive, Portal, and Duretti. I think I kill them first. I have them on a 2-turn clock with flyers. Maybe a 1-turn clock with an Alpha Strike. And an Ancient Tomb activation. This game has been super interesting. Lotus Bloom. Sure. I don't know that I would have played that Lotus Bloom prior to activating Duretti. But who am I to judge? That card does not have flying. Dark Ritual, okay. So I'm not getting any damage through on the ground here, but let's discard a card. And get fly. Crash in for 3. I don't care about his ultimate, right? Yeah. Well, it's not true that I don't care. Oblivion Stone is interesting. I'll take the repeal. Just return that and not worry about the ultimate with Oblivion Stone. And then I'll just save these as cards to discard to Putrid Imp. I'm going to pick Homage. So opponents Duretti now costs them basically all of their mana. Because I don't think they can play Duretti and get anywhere meaningful if they tap the Ancient Tomb for it. Okay. Now what? Oh, I didn't think about that. I did not think about that card having reach. Do I still have lethal with an Alpha Strike? So I attack this and this gets blocked. Maybe with Bazaar? Draw 2 cards, discard 3, grow Putrid Imp. So 6 cards in graveyard. I discard this, I give this flying. My opponent blocks Thief of Sanity. Putrid Imp gets through. Mesmeric Fiend gets through. Maybe I should have left them with the Duretti ultimate. Yeah, GG, man. That was a tight one. All right, last match. So we haven't gotten to use Spellseeker as a tutor yet. Sort of unfortunately, that just hasn't lined up. Yes, I would like to play first. Entomb, Reanimate. Keep. Let's just cast it now before we can get Spell Pierced. Which one of these do I want early on? Probably Ashen Rider, just take a land. I like playing against Forest. I will take your Soul Ring. I will play Putrid Imp. And I will probably use that to flash back this Lingering Souls if I don't draw a white source. Damnation is going to look real good against my opponent. We are the aggro deck. Elves of Deep Shadow costing mana also is going to be super relevant this game. Gains Vigilance and Reach. Okay. That can help with jump blocking. Nope. So that can get them a creature. Unburial Rites is super interesting with that bizarre draw. So 5, 6, 7, 8. I can hit them for 6, put them to 7, and then still have lethal next turn while killing Vivian. It is probably correct to just do that. If I Bazaar, I discard 3 cards, which doesn't give me Threshold for Putrid Imp. I'm still playing this. Attack them, attack them, attack Vivian, Attack Vivian. All right. So that was pretty good. Let's bring in some removal spells for these dorks. So we'll go Mesmeric Fiend and Tine Hollow Sculler out. Go Damnation, Shriekmaw in. I'll probably play Bone Shredder too. I think I'm going to junk the Inquisition on the draw. And then I think I should consider my Sower of Temptation for just something big that my opponent ramps into. Maybe junk. Blue-blue's probably hard. Let's junk my Lingering Souls until I know that I need to jump block something. If my opponent just plays a bunch of big Tramplers and Planeswalkers, that doesn't do a lot. I could also cut my Show and Tell against the green deck. What if I cut my Show and Tell and just play Tassiger? And then I just have the back door of mill myself, get back my removal spells again and again and again. Can I make blue-blue? Making blue-blue for the Tassiger is hard. What am I doing with this last slot, then? I just play one more land. Play 18 actual lands if I want to be a bit more controlling. Yeah, I don't know about that. If I had a little more time, I could consider cutting a land from my deck. No, Thief of Sanity. Then I don't have to justify having not adjusted my mana base to take the blue out. Yep. This will be another one of those hands where I'm just sitting there praying for a reanimation spell the entire time. But I don't think I can throw back a Damnation hand. Wow, no turn 1 dork. My opponent seemed to have a fair number of them, too. I could collect a Brutality and try to take an instant or sorcery from their hand, but I'm really just treating this as a removal spell for a dork. I think I'm just going to go ahead and fix my mana and swing for 1. Call that good. And then if they play their first dork, I just Liliana it. Oh boy. This is really good against my Liliana, unfortunately. Oh, that's awkward. That's a really good way to loot towards doing something unfair. I think I'm going to play a Liliana and plus once first. Like, this turns on my reanimation spells while also giving me the ability to minus twice to kill the first 2 creatures that come down from my opponent. So it's an indirect way of dealing with Vivian. And then on my turn, I can Bazaar, and I will have more hits at a reanimation spell than I did this turn. Alright. I'm going to want a creature not with flying. So I probably want to hit Terastodon if at all possible. I can't cast that Spellseeker. So Dragon Lord of Tarka can hit Planeswalkers, right? That's good. Let's Bazaar and see what happens. It's all the wrong side of the deck. So this is uncastable. This is not good. I'll cast the Buried Alive. And I'm going to get rid of the Collective Brutality. I'm fine with minusing the Lily on this. If my opponent had anything sweet, they would have played it. So they're probably just sitting on a land in hand. So let's put Ashen Rider and Terastodon into the graveyard. Dragon Lord of Tarka is already there. I don't think I want to draw Bone Shredder. That lets me kill Vivian Reed, which answers a huge problem that I have. All right. I think I'm just reanimating Terastodon, blowing up my lands, and just saying, like, deal with it. Like, my opponent would need some sort of Wrath of God type effect in green-red that can deal with 9 power and toughness. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. Alright, let's look at the deck again. So, Spellseeker, despite the fact that I thought it was going to be insane, just never showed up at the right time. And there were a couple times where I drew it where I just couldn't cast it, which I think is fine for a splash card. Show and Tell underperformed and got boarded out a lot. The sideboard cards that I played were very good. So, like my Gonti, my Thief of Hope, my Damnation, those cards served me well. Don't know that I built my pool properly, but I had a lot of fun doing that, and I hope you all enjoyed it. If you really like this and you want to see more of it in the future, let me know, and I can try to maybe record a few more of these for the future and save them as sub-goals. All right, cheers, folks.